Hey, and welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing a reading vlog of Dune, which I filmed this past week as I read it, and at the end I'm going to do a review. So let's just hop right into me reading this book. Just a warning, this video does have spoilers. I think I give some while I'm reading it, but the review section is going to be a spoiler review. So if you have not read the book, go back and read it, and then you can come back and watch this video. Hello and welcome to the camera shot part of this video, which is gonna look awful, so I apologize now. It is 10 a.m. My dog is literally playing in my home goods bag, but it's 10 a.m. on Labor Day and I'm off today. I do have to go back to work tomorrow. So today I am starting Dune and I am doing a vlog, obviously. So I'm gonna go downstairs after I finish uploading this review to go up tomorrow on YouTube, and I'm gonna make some coffee and I'm gonna jump right into Dune, and I think the world building on this is gonna be heavy. So I'm gonna go downstairs, make some coffee, and we'll jump right into it. It is the same day, different shirt, because I went places. Right after I said I was going to get coffee, I actually didn't start the book. I went to Academy. Then I came home, read the first 2 chapters. Then I went and laid in bed with my dog for a while. And then I went to my friend's house for Labor Day, came home. Now I'm on page 50. My goal for today is to get to at least 100. So I'm going to pick it back up now. I'm in my bed. My dog's outside playing. So while he's playing, I'm going to take the time to lay in bed. I told my dad to let me know when he's back inside so that I can go get him when he's ready for me again. So I'm going to try to get to at least page 100, and then we'll just keep going, and I'll tell you my thoughts once I get to page 100. So, more reading. Yes, I'm laid up in bed. Let's make booktube casual. I'm 100 pages into Dune, and here are some thoughts already. Honestly, I read the first 2 chapters this morning, and the whole thing was confusion. All the names, hard to pronounce, and I had no idea what was going on. They talk about things sometimes and don't explain what those things are. They just talk about it like you already know, and I don't. So that was kind of bad. I literally called my friend and I was like, I don't think I can read this book right now. This is going to take me forever. And then I read the 3rd chapter, and after that, it started to get better. It's a little more interesting. They've actually, gone to Dune now. And so I think it's going to be good. I just already am confused a little bit about some stuff. But a lot of these, newer chapters are not super confusing. So I'm going to try to keep going. I hit my mark for the day, but I'm going to see how much I can actually knock out before I have to go to bed tonight, so that I can feel accomplished. I am still in bed, but I finished book 1, which is about 253 pages in. It's 600 pages. I need to go to bed because I have work tomorrow, and it is already barely past my bedtime. I was like, whatever. And puppy is ready to go to sleep. So I'm stopping at book 1. I read a lot more today than I had planned to, because when I started it, I didn't think it was going to be that great, and it has gotten a lot better. Crazy things are happening. He found out that their bloodline is actually from the bad guy bloodline. I don't know how to say any of the names in this book. So that's crazy. The Duke is dead. So it's just him and his mother in the desert. And basically, he knows everything. He can predict the future through dreams, which is crazy and really interesting. So I am on book 2. I will pick back up tomorrow. Probably won't get that much reading done tomorrow, which is kind of depressing. I have work, so that's going to be all day. And then I have something I have to be at for work after work, and that's going to go pretty late. So I don't know if I'll be able to read at all tomorrow. If not, I will pick back up on Wednesday. So I will see you when I get back to reading. Good night. Another day. Hello. It is Tuesday now, It is 3:42. I am home from work. I have somewhere to be at around 6:20, so I'll probably leave here at around 6. So I'm gonna try to read for like an hour, see how far I can get into book 2 of Dune. Like it's sectioned into books. I read all of the first book last night. That was a lot. And so I'm gonna try to read a good chunk of this. This book is, again, really large, so I won't finish it all today because I have things to do. But when I get off at 3:30 tomorrow, I'm off for the night, so I'll try to read more tomorrow. So I will update you on how far I get before I have to go to this thing later tonight. I'm just in bed once again. My doggo is sleeping, and so while he's sleeping and being peaceful and not crazy, I'm gonna read. Also, this is the bookmark I got with this book. When I went to Michigan, we went to Literati in Ann Arbor, and it came with a bookmark, so I've been using it to read this book. Anyways, I need to stop talking and get to trying to read some of this book so I can have read something today. Okay, so I read like a couple of chapters, and I'm going to stop because I'm really tired and I just kind of want to hang out before I have to go do things. But I'm on page 306 of 617, so I felt like that was a good place to stop. And things are starting to pick up, so I think it's going to get better. But I'm going to leave most of my thoughts for the end of the video because I'm going to review it at the end. So that's where I'm at. I will probably pick back up tomorrow. Hello. So it is Friday now. I did read like 10 pages Wednesday. Didn't read it all yesterday. And I just got to book 3 in Dune. And I only have about 150 pages left. So I will either only read like 50 more pages and stop, or I may just sit down and literally finish it tonight because I'm ready to be done with it. And then I'll give my thoughts at the end. So I'm going to see how I'm feeling. So, hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? Say hey. Say hey. We'll see if he lets me read because he was ready to go to bed and now he seems like he's not. So I may not even get to read, but I will update you. So I'll either finish it tonight or I'll finish it tomorrow. I'll check back in later. In bed because it's time for me to go to sleep, but I finished Dune and I will give my review at the end of this video because I'm going to talk about it tomorrow. But it was pretty good, and that's all I'm going to say for now, because in like 2 seconds you'll hear my actual review and spoilery thoughts on the book. So if you care about that, keep watching. For the review of Dune by Frank Herbert, I gave this 3.5 stars. Obviously 3 stars on Goodreads, but I gave it a 3.5. Not that it wasn't good. I did enjoy this book, but here's why it's not a 4 stars. It was never going to be a 5-star. Science fiction isn't really like my thing, but I do want to see the movie. That's what motivated me purely to read this book, was the movie. So the highest I was going to give this book was a 4 stars, and it didn't get that for a couple of reasons. One, the book is pretty long. It's like 617 pages, but then it keeps going because it's got a lot of pages of appendixes. So it has everything from like the ecology of Dune, and then like who people are, and then it's got a whole terminology section in which it tells you like what words mean, because most of this book is made up words. I also had a struggle in the beginning of this book because it was kind of confusing and it didn't explain anything. It just jumps right into the situation without explaining any backstory, really. You kind of figure out more as you go along, but the first 2 chapters I was like, I have no idea who these people are or what they're referring to. Like, they would mention things, I'm like, I don't know who that is. So it was pretty confusing the first 2 chapters, and then once I got into the 3rd chapter and they actually started to go to Arrakis or Dune, it got much better. I think the last part, which was like 150 pages, should have been longer than it was, because it's like them basically defeating the bad guys, and Paul becomes like the Duke and the ruler of the Freemen at the end of this book. And there's the battle scene kind of just gets skipped over. There is no like big battle scene. Like, it's inferred that there was a battle, but like it skips over that whole thing. And so like the end, he like gets everything he wants. Problems plot wise for me. They skip forward in time so much without telling you, and then you realize, oh, this is years later. So like there's this one scene that they're talking about something that happened like 2 chapters ago or a chapter ago, and he's like, it's been years since this event occurred, and I'm like, oh, so we skip forward years in this next chapter, okay. And then when you get to the 3rd part and it's like Paul's section, he like talks about having a child, and I'm like, oh, well, you were like 13 last time we checked on you, and now you have a child. Okay, so it does a lot of time skipping that can be kind of confusing, and most of it is confusing. It's got a lot of words that are made up, and I just made up pronunciations for them the whole time because I did not know how to say it. And a lot of like culture things that aren't really explained. I guess that's why you have the appendixes. Like, if you really cared, you could go like read about all the things, but I think that's a little too much. Also, I hate that the 2 main characters are Paul and Jessica, because everyone else has these weird like made up names that are hard to pronounce, and then you have Paul and Jessica, and they just call her Jessica. Like, that's it. They're like, Jessica, and I'm like, this doesn't match the rest of everything else. Obviously, once he becomes a part of like the Freeman, he gets his Freeman name, and that is different, but it drove me insane that they're the only 2 people with normal names. Everybody else had like these far out there names, and then the 2 main characters were Jessica and Paul. That was weird. It did pique my interest. I really thought that I was going to pick this book up and it was going to take me forever to read. I did start it on like Sunday last week. No, I started on Monday last week, and I didn't read on Wednesday or Thursday because I was busy, but I did literally sat down for 3 days and read it. I read book 1, then I read most of book 2, and then last night I finished book 2 and all of book 3. So it was like, the pace was good for me. I know some people think that the pacing in this is not great, but I still, like, when things started to get slow, something else would happen. I'd be like, okay, I'm interested again. But it wasn't a fave. But that's just because I'm not a big science fiction person, and I know that he paved the way for modern science fiction. Like, this was the first of many books to kind of follow his lead, and so that is another reason why I wanted to read it. But for me, it was just not really my vibe, and so I gave it a 3.5. I enjoyed it, but I don't think I'll read any of the other ones. There's like 4 more books. This you could read as a standalone because it kind of wraps itself up, and like the story's over, but I know there are more books about Dune, and so I don't think I'll read them. Maybe one day if I get really bored and I'm like, oh, remember that book I read once? Yeah, I'll read the rest, but probably not. And that is the good thing. You could read this as a standalone. The story does wrap up really well, but it leaves room for if you wanted to read the rest, because their whole thing is that they want to be able to put plants and have water on this planet because there is no water. It's very limited, so I would maybe read the rest, but not anytime soon. This was really bad. I've never done a reading vlog before, and this review was not great, but that is all. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.